If you think elimination communication is weird, extreme, or harmful, or you think it's super cool and you really want to try it, but everybody you know thinks it's weird, extreme, or harmful, you're not alone, but most of what you've heard is totally wrong. So today I'm going to clarify 8 common myths that people have about EC. I'm Andrea Olson, mom of 6 babies, author of Go Diaper-free. Let's dive in. Number 1, EC will psychologically damage your baby. Well, that would mean that every baby across all of human history has been psychologically damaged because this is literally what they did before diapers. People worry that it's too early and might create shame or put pressure on a baby or whatever. But this isn't potty training. This isn't coercive or forceful. It's responsive. It's not controlling. It's like feeding on demand. They're telling you these things just to sell more diapers. Okay, let's be honest. EC was the norm globally before disposals were invented in 1961. When they hit the market, nobody wanted to buy them. So they did a scientific study by Peaberry Brazelton specifically that says the parents should wait till readiness. And in the generations that followed, 2 or 3 if I'm right, from 1961 to present day, the potty training age has nearly doubled. In 1957, 92% of babies were out of diapers completely by 18 months in the United States. That's almost everybody, and that's not an average. So now the average age is 36 to 38 months in the United States, and that is ridiculous. And it is all because of this wonderful scientific study that says you're going to pressure your baby, you're going to put harm on them if you potty train too early. Whereas if you really think about it, what did people do before diapers? There is zero research that shows that EC is harmful. There's one guy who did a whole bunch, Dr. Hodges, who did a whole bunch of research on medical constipation and said that early potty training would cause this, but his only clients were 3-year-olds who had medical constipation because of late potty training. So don't believe what people are telling you or what you might have seen. Really think about it. Tons of history shows that it works. And in present day countries where there aren't disposable diapers yet, thank goodness, they're still doing this practice and their babies are also equally not psychologically damaged. Second myth is that you have to catch every pee. EC is not all or nothing. If you think that you have to catch everyone in the potty, you're going to fail and you're going to quit, and it will be completely impossible to do EC. I use diapers as a backup. I don't try to get everyone. I usually go for like every other one, and I definitely try to go for all the poops. This is called part-time EC, and it makes a huge difference because in essence, EC is an exposure technique with a pre-mobile baby, and then once they start to walk, we're wrapping them up and helping them get these independent skills they need to do it themselves, and that's between 12 and 18 months. So 0 to 18 months you can do EC, but the 12 to 18 month period is the Montessori sensitive period for toilet learning, and that is when we also wrap up EC by teaching them some more things. But until then, 0 to 12 months just being an exposure technique is great, which does not mean that you have to catch every single pee. That's not the point. Number 3, EC is too intense while caring for a newborn. Why should I add this to my plate? I should just wait till they're older. This is a myth because it's actually easier to start with newborns. It's actually easier to start with a pre-mobile baby. Even though you're both in postpartum, it's the perfect time because they're still in their primal rhythm. They're way more vocal. They're still signaling and they aren't mobile yet, which means you get containment, right? You don't have them crawling all over and possibly peeing somewhere. You can put them on a waterproof pad and observe there. It's also a natural fit with feeding and sleeping cycles, which are plentiful in the first few months and weeks. You've got babies who are taking naps all the time. It helps them sleep better. It is really good to start a newborn also because you're building a habit for yourself that you'll keep up with, even if it's just the habit of catching the poops and the wake up pees or doing the diaper changes, which by the way, my free Easy Start guide is linked below. You can get that in the description and it'll explain how to catch a pee today and some of the things I'm talking about in this video. The 4th myth, EC takes way too much time. One time I was at Marbles Museum in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had my then 6-month-old Branson in the carrier and he started to squirm because he just woke up. So I went into the bathroom and there was this woman changing a 4 or 5-month-old baby who was screaming bloody murder and the poop was everywhere. And she was changing the diaper, trying to wipe, using 1,000 wipes. It was awful and I felt so bad for them. And then I went into the stall and privately took the baby out of the carrier, held Branson over the toilet. He pooped directly into the toilet, put him on his side a little bit, saw that there really wasn't anything to wipe because at that age and with breastfeeding, it comes out pretty clean. So I kind of patted him, put the same diaper back on him, put him back in the carrier and left. This took all of 5 minutes. Meanwhile, as I'm leaving the bathroom, she's still trying to clean up that big disaster, which is people who don't do EC, it's their daily reality. So it does not take that much time to do EC as compared to changing a blowout or dealing with diaper rash. It's easier to take the baby to the potty and takes a lot less time. So go for the poops only and you'll just save a ton of time. Don't even go for the peas if you're skeptical. But this does take some things off your plate and it doesn't add anything to your plate other than having a little better responsiveness for your baby, which goes a long way for your connection. The 5th myth is that you have have to stay home all day. This is so not true. That's not meant to be a trap. EC is portable. And in fact, most people have more success on outings than not. I have a little course on it too, because when people are like, I'm afraid to do it, and then they go try it and they use some of my advice on it. I have some podcast episodes on it. Like, it's really just a matter of getting some information on how to do it or whether to do it. You don't even have to do it on outings. I have done EC at the park, in the car, while traveling, on an airplane, at my seat on an airplane with multiple different babies. I have literally done it on a boat. So a little bit of learning about when to go, when to offer when you're traveling or on an outing, and a travel potty. I love the Potty Plus for that. That is really all it takes. And then just making sure you carry a backup of clothes and your diaper backup, which you're already doing in your diaper bag, right? So all we're doing is adding a portable potty, and we're offering when we arrive somewhere, when we leave somewhere. We can do it in the car. We can do it in the public toilet. I go into much more detail in other resources, but you don't have to stay home. EC is 100% portable. And speaking of portable, on porta potties or porta johns, most babies won't even go on them, and then you're in a real pinch. So having a portable potty seat is a huge thing. It makes everything a lot easier. And outings are also optional. Number 6, EC will confuse your baby. No. Mainstream advice tells you to wait for potty training readiness, or they're going to get confused, they're going to get damaged, which we already covered that. Babies are born with elimination awareness, and they are born expressing their needs for it, and they have built-in hormones that help support us in this. It is developmentally appropriate. There is no way EC will confuse your baby. It's not too soon. It's not premature. Delaying actually trains them out of their intuition. So they're born with sphincter control. We actually teach them to ignore this, and those muscles go flaccid until later on we start to get to potty train them at 3 years old. Like, it doesn't really make sense. EC doesn't confuse your baby because it's in alignment with your baby's construction, like how they're actually made, and they're made to support and connect with us in this process. Like, it's a teamwork thing. Number 7, EC means never using a diaper. Now, I have like maybe 5 clients that have told me over like 1 million babies that I've helped with this process actually use 0 diapers from birth. And they lived in a tropical island, and it was great, and it worked for them. Most of us live in not a tropical island. I wish I did, but most of us don't. And it's just not true that we don't use diapers. Diaper-free means free from dependence on diapers. It means that we're free to have a choice. It means that we're using the diaper as a backup, not a toilet. So we're using a diaper as a tool. And actually, I've done some reading. I think it was in Lori's book, Infant Potty Training, which is really cool, that has like some anthropological studies. Back in the day, so nomadic cultures would stuff moss or animal fur or something in their sling where they're holding the baby if they were on a long trek, for just in case. It was never a toilet then either. Baby would wriggle, and then if they could, if it wasn't too cold or whatever, they would pop them out, point and shoot into a bush, and put them back in. So hopefully that paints a little picture for you about that. I use diapers as a backup, but I only use them for the first year, and I especially use them during sleep or outings until I feel confident with that. What matters is the intention, not the diaper status. And really, if you're doing this for status, you might want to rethink. It's not about, I'm a good mom and look at me, everybody. It's really about what works for our family and what helps my child meet her needs until she can meet them herself. And that's what it is with all layers: feeding, sleeping, all the things, right? Number 8, this is a myth that EC is weird or fringe, or worse yet, EC is a trend. EC is so the opposite of a trend, you guys. It might feel unusual now because we've been conditioned by diaper companies to become a diapering culture over the last 3 generations. But EC historically has been the norm. And in intact communities, indigenous cultures around the world in present day, they still do this. It's not a trend. It's ancient wisdom. It's just like saying breastfeeding is a trend. Breastfeeding is not a trend. That's actually how we are all wired and built to grow a baby without having to go purchase formula at a store. What is a trend is full-time diapering. What is a trend is disposable diapers. EC is what humans have always done. Go here for more videos like this.